Hi, welcome to the first edition of FastDraw, the game. We're glad you purchased the game. My name's Gene. This is Kathy sitting over here behind me. What we're going to do is we're going to try to explain this so that maybe you'll be able to play it a little more easily. So you should have received your game deck in the mail, the FastDraw deck. And inside that deck you should have gotten a deck of cards. And you should have gotten a FastDraw set of rules. So the deck of cards looks like the card deck we have laid out here on the table. We have 5 suits, and these 5 suits consist of horseshoes, spades, hearts, diamonds, and clubs. And also included in the card deck is a quick reference card to show you what point values are assigned to what hand. Like 2 pairs would be worth 1 point. 5 of a kind would be a 4-point hand if you were to get that. And the way you keep score, we keep a score pad, and as we score points, we add them up, and the first one that gets to 11 is the game winner. So as you're playing hands and you're collecting points, you're going to
shuffle.
Go ahead, and Kathy's gonna shuffle up the deck for us. And we're going to play a 2-hand game just between me and Kathy, just to give you an idea of how the game plays, and then we'll deal out 4 hands. And because it plays a little differently with 4 hands. With 2 hands, there's a part of the game called the steal that is not, it's hard to steal when there's only 2 people playing because there's nobody to steal from. But when you have 3 or more people playing, yes, then you have an opportunity to steal a card when it's not your turn. So, shield deal. Just keep in mind the dealer is the one who starts the game. So the dealer will deal the hands. After he's through dealing or she's through dealing, the dealer will pick up the hand that they've been dealt, and then they will begin to play either by trying to win the hand or by picking a card off the deck. The only way you can win, if you look at the rules, you have to have a minimum of 2 pairs in your hand to try to win with. You can only win at the beginning of your hand. Kathy, you want to show us your hand? So
Pair of 2s and nothing else.
She only has a pair of 2s, so she cannot try to win as a dealer. So her only option is to pick from the deck.
And I got a 6.
And she puts that in her hand. Now she discards. Now I have the option to try to win at this point, but I was dealt a wild card, but the best I can get is 2 pairs out of this hand, or is 1 pair out of this hand. I cannot try to win, so I have to try to improve my hand. So in this case, I'm going to pick up the 3, add it to my hand, and I'm going to discard. And now it's Kathy's turn. Now if she thinks she can win at this point, if she has 2 pairs or more, she can try to win.
I'm going to go ahead and lay down. I've got 2 pair, so I'm going to lay it down to see if I win.
So she has a pair of 2s and a pair of 6s. So she's trying to win. Unfortunately, I was able to pick up another 3, so now I have 3 of a kind. So my 3 of a kind beats her 2 pairs. So on the score part,
that's a spade.
Oh, sorry, man, I messed up my own instructions. Kathy's right. My wild card is a spade. It cannot be a 3 of spades because I already have the 3 of spades, so I cannot have 3 of a kind. That's a good example. The best I could have in this hand would be 2 pairs, would be 8s and 3s.
Okay.
That would be the best hand I could get, would be 8s and 3s. She has 2s and 6s, but her 2s are naturals. She does not have a wild card making up her hand. I have a wild card making mine, so her hand naturally beats mine because it's a natural hand versus a wild card built hand. So she would win
1 point.
Kathy would get a point. All right. We're going to deal another hand, but we're going to deal 4 hands this time, just so you can see. And go ahead and deal them face up, Kathy.
Okay.
So we can see how the hands play out.
Explain how, though. natural versus the wild card works again.
Yes, if you build a hand using a wild card, say it's a full house, for example. So you have a full house, but one of the cards in your full house is a wild card. And your opponent has a full house, but he doesn't have any wild cards making his full house. Your full house is automatically inferior to the natural full house and would lose no matter what the card values were in his hand, as long as his cards were all natural. So he could have 3 aces and 2 twos and have a full house. You could have 2 10s and 2 9s and a wild card, and so you'd have 10s and 9s. That full house loses to the aces and 2s because aces and 2s would be natural. The full house still beats, even if you're using a wild card, the full house would still beat a straight or 3 of a kind or 2 pairs no matter what, even with the wild card. But if a wild card's involved and the hands are similar hands, like both hands are full houses, for example, the natural full house beats the wild card full house. All right, so she's dealt 4 hands out for us. She's, being the dealer, has the opportunity to try to win off the deal. Now, I don't know if you can see her hand or not, but she dealt herself a straight. A straight would be a good hand to try to win with. So she could go ahead before she does anything else. Once she draws off the deck, she cannot try to win until her next turn. So the only time you can try to win is on the beginning. So as a dealer, at the beginning of her turn, she can try to win with the hand she was dealt. She was dealt 9, 8, 7, 6 and a wild card, which would be a 5, or you could play it as a 10. It doesn't matter. It could be a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. It's still a straight. So at this point, every other player at the table would try to see if they can beat a straight. Well, my hand does not beat a straight. I have 2 pairs. This hand does not beat a straight because it has nothing. And this hand has...
He's got 3 twos.
He's got a full house.
Oh, yeah.
No, not a full
No.
house, sorry, because the
only got-
wild card cannot be used for the 8. So the best he could get out of this hand would be 3 of a kind. And 3 of a kind does not beat a straight, so she would get her point. Okay?
Okay.
Let's show how steel works. So in the steel, when we deal the hands out, as we begin play, the person whose turn would be next, like Kathy deals, it would be my turn next. If the person next to me sees the card that Kathy discards and they want that card, and it's not their turn, they can steal that card. Which means that they can pick that card up off the discard pile, put it in their hand, make a discard, but then their hand goes face down on the table and is frozen until their natural turn is passed. And their hand would not be allowed to be played while they're frozen. So if I were to try to win with 2 pairs and they were sitting there with 5 of a kind after a steal, the 5 of a kind hand would be no good because it's frozen until it passes their turn. So me as the player after Kathy, if I tried to win with 2 pairs, I wouldn't have to beat their hand because it's frozen. So we're gonna, she dealt out another hand here. Now, as a dealer, she has the opportunity to try to win the hand.
I only have 1 pair, so I'm going to go ahead and draw. It's an 8. I'm going to go ahead and keep it and discard my 3.
Okay, so I have the opportunity to try to win right now. Now, if I'm going to show you an example. So here we have a player that's got 3 7s. I'm going to put these in order for you. A 2 and a 3. You see this? 3 7s, a 2 and a 3, and the 3 was discarded. It's my turn, but this player would want this 3 because it makes a full house for them. So they could steal this 3, discard this 2. Now they have a natural full house, 7s and 3s, but their hand is frozen. They cannot play this hand until their natural turn passes, which comes after me. My hand, I was dealt 2 wild cards, an ace and a 10. So I'm going to try to win with three of a kind. I'm gonna try to win with three of a kind. So here we go. I got 1, 2. I have a wild card for a 2 and another wild card for a 2.
You pick that up and go for 4.
Well, because I'm trying to win.
Okay.
So I've got three of a kind. The frozen hand, even though it's a full house, is not allowed to play because it's frozen. This hand can play. This hand has three of a kind also, and it's got three fours, which is better than my hand. So this hand beats my hand, and then Kathy's hand,
just one pair.
just one pair. So the winning hand in this particular situation, because this guy's frozen, he doesn't get to play. This guy wins with three of a kind fours, with 3 4s. I have 3 2s. Both hands are built with wild cards, so they would be, the wild card doesn't factor in. If I had 3 natural 2s and he had a wild card and 2 4s, my hand would be the winner. But because I have wild cards making my 3 of a kind, he has wild cards making his 3 of a kind. His 3 of a kind is better than mine. He wins. So my hand that I tried to win with is a 1-point hand. He won with a 1-point hand, so he gets his point and my point. He gets 2 points for his hand. All right, that's how the steal works. The guy with the best hand at the table had stolen a card, but his hand was no good because he was frozen until his turn passed. Once his turn passes, once it went by him, his hand's back in play. He can actually steal again, and when his turn comes back around, he can try to win. What other aspect of the game? So that's a steal. We talked about the wild cards. And like I said, just to reiterate, the wild cards can only be wild in their suit. So this can only be a heart of some kind or another. Now, I can have, and this is kind of unusual, but I can have all 5 wild cards, have 5 of a kind, and that's a legitimate hand. That would be a 4-point hand. I don't know if I can find all five of them real quick here, but I'll try. So, well, where are they? I know there's 5 wild cards in here.
Missing the horseshoe.
I don't know where it went to. Oh, I'm missing the horseshoe. All right.
Here. No, it's the ace.
I just wanted to give you an example of how the wild cards work.
But even if he had all 5 wild cards, and somebody else had 5
2s.
5 2s,
The 2s would win.
2s would win because the wild cards are the lowest.
So even if I had that in my hand, that would be, let me show you again here. That would be considered 5 of a kind. That's a 4-point hand. But those are the lowest cards in the deck. The aces beat these, the 2s beat these, the 3s beat these. So if I had 5 aces, I would win. Now that's another thing to remember too. The ace is really played as a 1 in this game, so the ace is always low. So even though you got an ace in your hand, in this particular way this deck's built, the ace is just above the wild card in strength. So a 2 would beat an ace, a 3 would beat an ace. Ace is still a legitimate card, but it falls just below the wild cards in power. So gameplay would continue until somebody got to 11. And I'll go ahead and we'll make Kathy the winner because she likes to win. So in this particular case here, Kathy got to 11 before Gene did, and she would be the winner of the game.
Yay!
Yay! And that's your goal as you're playing quick draw, is to try to see how quickly you can accumulate 11 points as you play out these different poker hands. Good luck with the game. I hope you really enjoy it. Hopefully the instructions make sense to you. And we have also posted the instructions on Wikipedia for FastDraw in case you lose your instructions from the card game. And just have fun. It's a fun game to play. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.